Welcome to another episode of the Rank 'em Podcast. Appreciate you making this a part of your day, however it is, wherever it is you're doing so. You can like, subscribe, give us a 5-star review, wherever you listen to your podcasts. We can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Rank 'em Podcast. I'm Garrett C. Wright. You can find me on Twitter at Garrett C. Wright. Joined as always by Don Garwood. You can find him on Twitter
at Donnie_G, but like it's only one letter.
Wait, just the one G.
Right. It's not E's either. Or
not
Y's.
There's the one I. Y. Yeah.
One Y.
There's a one Y.
And an underscore. Who
All
else
right.
is here?
We got my younger brother, Zach.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to give an accurate representation.
Yeah, I'm many things. Younger is probably the best to describe me compared to you.
Yeah, well, yeah, little is...
Right, because like
Subjective?
Is it?
Is it? 2 inches taller, 150 pounds heavier. I mean, not a lot littler.
I hope you're not 150 pounds
I was
heavier.
gonna say,
I can't imagine I'm 150 pounds
we
heavier.
need to call Guinness Book of World
I was
Records.
going to say, you're on a TLC special.
You
man,
might be
at
the
that point.
most.
Well, do you want to get a motorcycle and we can just be on the Guinness Book of World Records together?
If you're 150 pounds
Don't get the
bigger
reference
than
there.
Garrett.
You've never seen those two really big, fat twin biker dudes?
No.
Ah, you're missing out.
If you were 150 pounds heavier than Garrett, you might be the largest mobile person in the world.
I'm not laughing. Don's not laughing. I'm not laughing. It's...
Well,
So you can read. You've got the ability to see what today's title is.
Yeah, so we're not even going to talk about it.
No.
Straight into number 5.
Number 5. No, so we are ranking Tom Hanks movies.
Timothy.
Timothy is
Goes close to
the royal name, Timothy.
Timothy Jeffrey Hanks.
What are you doing? What are you doing right now?
Reading his IMDb profile.
Okay, all right. And you know what? Surprisingly difficult to rank Tom Hanks movies. I thought Don's over there as cool as a cucumber. Like, that wouldn't hard for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still not sure. Like 4 or 5 honorable mention. What do you leave off? What do you keep on? That's the hard part. It's not hard to find 5 that you like.
Right. It's hard
It's
to
hard to-
slot them.
I mean, Zach's got 10. He goes, we might have to go top 10 on this. I'm like, we're not going top 10.
Yeah, we're not going top 10.
I was joking.
Yeah, well, it wasn't a funny joke.
Most of
on
my
it.
jokes aren't.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why it's hard to tell.
Zach, you're the guest today, and I want to pick on you first. So you give us your number 5 Tom Hanks movie.
Okay. So one of the last times I was in the studio, we ranked our favorite Leonardo DiCaprio movies. My number 5 favorite Tom Hanks movie was my number 1 favorite Leonardo DiCaprio movie, and that is Catch Me If You Can. That is a movie starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks plays FBI agent Carl Hanratty.
No.
Carl Hanratty.
I was going to say, he plays Carl Hanratty.
And so, yeah, Tom Hanks throws on a pretty gnarly Boston accent the whole movie, and he is on a mission to catch Leonardo DiCaprio if he can. They're
Spoiler alert.
They're
You do.
they're going all around the world and playing a fun game of cat and mouse. It's a movie directed by Martin Scorsese, if I'm not mistaken, and just a all-around solid movie. Wonderful performance by Mr. Hanks.
You are mistaken. It was directed by Steven Spielberg.
Okay, now I feel like a jackass.
Should.
My number 5 is also Catch Me If and You Can. And it's a movie starring both Leonardo DiCaprio. I don't remember where I had it on my Leonardo DiCaprio list. It might have been off of it, and I think it was because I'd never seen it. However, I went and watched it after there.
What a novel
Unlike
concept.
somebody who still hasn't seen Honey, I Shrunk the Kids since like episode in the top 10.
I was going to say, it was early.
It was early. I've
did.
seen Ratatouille. I've seen Catch Me If You Can. I've seen
So you spent 3 hours of your
the
life.
baseball movies that we talked about during the sports movie one.
Yeah, what hadn't you seen? Bull Durham. I think you'd seen Bull Durham.
I think I have, but then I watched. I think for Love of the Game, I hadn't seen all of it. Is that the one where he's pitching the perfect game?
Yeah.
Hadn't seen that one, and I don't think I'd seen the one where he's like the coach. Dennis Quaid is the coach.
The rookie.
The rookie. I hadn't seen that one either.
Gotcha.
All of it. And then obviously, like when you get in a binge like that, then you watch
Every
Bull Durham as well.
Yeah.
The only thing I didn't watch was Field of Dreams.
Yeah, Field of Dreams is...
I just can't.
It's for boomers who have daddy issues. That like, my dad never had the ability to tell me he loved me, but damn it, we watched Field of Dreams together.
Speaking of both Field of Dreams and boomers with daddy issues, Mom actually just came back from a bus trip that she went out to the Field of Dreams and saw that.
Really?
So that's interesting that you'd bring that up.
She enjoy herself?
She had fun.
That's good.
I guess they're like taking the Field of Dreams and like adding on, like not like if you're looking at the Field of Dreams, you can see it, but they're adding like little league parks and stuff around it.
Like Major League Baseball is paying for them to be like a baseball kind of mecca thing. But
Yeah.
it's not a bad idea.
But she went on like a week-long bus trip out west and saw that and did all kinds of stuff. But Catch Me If You Can. Pretty much
Number
good
5
movie for all the things that Zach said. We won't. I imagine it'll come up again. Maybe it won't. I don't know.
Speaking of baseball movies, I have A League of Their Own at number 5. I really, really, really enjoy A League of Their Own and the character arc of Jimmy Dugan, a.k.a. Timothy Hanks, in the movie, because he starts as a
Drunkard.
flat out pissing himself drunkard and becomes quite fond of the women he's coaching in A League of Their Own. And also, it's, there's not a whole lot of stories like that. Generally, those stories don't get told. And I think,
There's no crime.
I was going to say there are not many more quintessential movie lines. There's no crying in baseball. Are you crying? There's no crying in baseball. It was a fantastic performance, and I love the movie.
I love A League of Their Own. So much so that right as we started filming, I dropped it into my honorable mention.
I was like, either this is a fantastic segue, Don,
It's not, but I also love it.
So I got League of Their Own. It might be it's a 7.3 on IMDb, which I thought was a little low.
I think that's about right.
A little low.
How long is it? It's a 2-hour movie.
I was going to say, it's not.
It could probably be trimmed down. I think that it drags at points, but I like 2-hour movies. I think that 2 hours is the optimal time to watch a movie, and it's just longer than what they do now. Hour 15, not long enough.
Hour 30 is kids' movie.
Yeah. 2 hours.
If you can go between an hour 30 and 2 hours, I'm fine with that. If you got a banger movie and you go to 2.5, I don't care. Like the Batman is 3 hours.
I was just going to say, the Batman's 3 hours.
I never once really in the theater thought, oh my gosh, this is really dragging. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, great 2.5-hour movie.
Avengers Endgame, 3 hours. And I remember wondering how long it had taken and was glad that I was only an hour in. I'm like, oh, okay, we got plenty of stuff to go.
Yeah. So I got League of Their Own, number 5.
League of Their Own is a very nice movie.
Zachary.
Number 4, I have a little movie, just a tiny little movie that Tom Hanks is in, entitled Toy Story. He is Sheriff Woody. He's dealing with his the kid who owns him, growing up, learn some
His
difficult.
name's Andy. Let's put the respect on his name. That he deserves.
Does Andy really
That
deserve
kid
respect?
deserves no respect.
I was to say Andy deserves, in the first one, very little. But
I'll disagree.
Woody's got to deal with there being a new toy in the room, and he's very popular. Good old Buzz Lightyear, whose movie is out now. So go see Lightyear. Apparently, we're getting plugged by Disney. But toy.
So
I don't know why my head went to Peg.
I was just about to say, okay, small tangent. There are 2 words that you to anybody under the age of 35, you can't really say anymore. In one, I work the next closest person in age to me at work is 18 years older than me. And so when they're like, I would have pegged you as a okay, hey, you can't to people my age, you can't peg in you can't be like, I would have pegged him as a no. Just people, those same people.
I'd have pegged you as a Scotch guy.
Right. Ugh. those people will say, like, when something got canceled, they will say it got banged. Oh, they banged that game. No, banged means bump uglies, horizontal bop, no pants dance.
Pretty aggressive, too.
Yeah, banged is aggressive fornication.
Knock the bottom out of.
And these people mean canceled. When my age people,
fornication, as we learned.
that's right. Now that we know the definition of fornication, we're learning people here. But no, you can't say plugged, can't say pegged.
No,
Sorry,
it's just over. Those words are done, unless you're into some freaky stuff.
Right.
Continues.
You said we're plugged by Disney.
Yeah, we're plugged by Disney, and Don and I are both like, ugh.
Yeah, sorry. Didn't mean that one the way it came out. But no, Sheriff Woody has to.
I think we've all seen the movies. Eh?
He's
I
got to
don't need a
learn.
synopsis of Toy Story.
He has like a bad guy arc and
Right.
Why you got it at 4 rather than 1?
So we were talking
Because there are 3 better movies.
So we were talking about
Name
how
Well, continue listening to this program.
name them now and then get the hell out of here.
Get out of here for having Toy Story at 4.
So we were.
I wanted to have Toy Story higher. I really did. I just couldn't
what
do
'90s movie did you have super high that we hated you for?
It was a Pixar. We were doing Pixar, and Don and I correctly
we
had Toy Story at 1, and Zach's trying to be all contrarian over there. It was like, no, I think Wall-E is number 1 or something stupid. It's like,
I wasn't
Get
on
out.
the Pixar episode.
I think it was '90s TV. He was like,
oh, he
actually-
didn't have he had
Yeah,
Rocco's Modern Life
I didn't have
instead of Rugrats like an idiot.
Yeah.
I'm glad you weren't on the Pixar then.
What would your number 1 Pixar been? Yeah, get out of here if it's not automatically.
If you did say Toy Story, you are incorrect.
I mean, it's probably Toy Story.
No, it took you too long.
Probably Toy Story 3.
See, okay, I was going to put Toy Story 3 in my top 5. And it's like, can you go to Toy Story 3? I think you got to go with Toy Story, and it's implied that
Right.
So
Toy Story 3 is the best of the Toy Stories.
Before we started recording, we talked about how on another podcast or something that Garrett listens to, they have like sound effects for when someone makes a good or a bad point.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to hammer the bad sound effects.
Bloop, bloop. Near, near.
And number 4, I've got Toy Story. Wah, wah.
I'm sorry. I have 3 movies that I feel are much better than Toy
So
Story.
what is it about Toy Story that doesn't put it in the
Yeah.
top 3?
Why?
Because it's not the greatest Tom Hanks performance in the sense that it's just his voice.
There's a snake in his boot the entire movie.
His entire existence.
I don't believe there is a snake in his boot. I
How
think
would you
he
know?
just thinks there is.
You know what there is? Writing on the bottom of his foot that says Andy.
Yeah, well, one of the letters is backwards.
Yeah, because a kid wrote it. Otherwise, how would you know?
Andy's stupid.
Wow.
That's true. Don't talk to me about Andy.
And then his face is all deformed. Go watch Toy Story 1. Look at the humans' faces. They're weird, man. They're weird.
Okay.
Don.
I'll get us back on track.
Thank you.
Number 4, as appropriate. I've got Toy Story. I don't. But could you imagine?
Could you imagine if I did?
All right, so my number 4, I've got Castaway.
I've watched too much TikTok. I just go straight to
Castaway.
Castaways. We are castaways. Continue.
Tom Hanks carries that movie literally on the strength of his own acting with nobody else. Like, it's really good, like, cinematically. Like, it's...
You just going to dismiss Wilson?
Yeah, you know who played Wilson? Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks gave Wilson all of the drama that Wilson has in that. You ever feel bad about losing a volleyball? No, not until Tom Hanks did.
Now you feel terrible.
Right. You know, people probably crying in the theater. Wilson!
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a very emotional scene.
I mean,
hilarious.
It's essentially a 2-hour-long one-man show.
Right.
I know that it's 2.5 hours long, but take a little bit out of the beginning, take a little bit out of the end for when there were other people in the movie. And he did a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
There's no second billing on the poster for Castaway.
True.
It's Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks is Castaway. Helen Hunt is in it for 10 minutes.
5 at the beginning, 5 at the end, the way God intended.
but he just did so phenomenal in that movie. And that's one, like I said, 2.5 hours long. You got to dedicate yourself to watch it. Mm-hmm. But when you do, you find new stuff all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of what the director said. 7.8 on IMDb. I think that might be a little bit low. But Robert Zemeckis is the director of that, and I think he came out and said that inside the package that he saves was like a satellite phone or something like that.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Had he opened it, it'd have been
Just would have.
yeah.
Things would have went all right.
What does that tell you? If you got a package, open it.
Yeah, but like I feel like we've talked about this once before, but you get a satellite phone, you're in the middle of the South Pacific. Who the hell do you call?
Ghostbusters.
Like,
no, your insurance company. What you said was stupid.
No, because like
911.
Okay, 911 gets you an American dispatch. You're gonna get somewhere, probably like somewhere in South California, and you're like, hey, I'm on an island out here.
Hi, this is Tom Hanks, and I was on a FedEx plane and it crashed. I'm still alive. Please find me.
Right.
Don't give up the search. Tell my wife not to marry someone else. I'm here.
You're gonna triangulate my positions. Actually, it's from 2002.
Right.
Oh,
satellites?
you don't.
What are they gonna do? Use satellites to figure out where I'm at? That doesn't make any sense.
Zach, I don't know how to tell you this, but like in 2002, even the government could have just like blowed your house up with a laser from space.
We'd been to space.
I doubt that in 2022 the government can blow your house up with a laser. Now they can use.
Now Zach lives in Kalamazoo. This is not where. If you got the metadata from where this is recorded, Zach does not live here. Lives in Kalamazoo, Michigan.
He also figured out a way to make a car run on water, just in case anybody else.
Just in case anybody else listening. Get him. Anything else, Don, about Castaway?
I imagine we'll talk about it again.
Yeah, I would imagine.
I've got Apollo 13 at number 4.
Interesting.
I like space movies because I don't really have a whole lot of comprehension for that. I can relate to being. I guess I can't relate, but I can imagine what it would be like to be stuck in the South Pacific by yourself. Space, I got no comprehension.
You were stuck in an elevator.
I was stuck in an elevator one time.
How was that?
Not as bad as you'd think. Just was warm.
Yeah, you're in like Miami,
South Florida, Pompano Beach. Like,
Exactly like how Tom Hanks felt on that island.
probably.
Except for at least he had a volleyball.
Right, he had I just was me and my cell phone with endless data. Not endless battery power, but endless data. Apollo 13, directed by Ron Howard.
Yep.
I guess the one thing that maybe brings it just down a hair is that it's not like strictly a Tom Hanks movie. All-star cast, man. I got Ed Harris and Bill Paxton. Gary Sinise. Kevin Bacon is not in Footloose, but he is in Apollo 13.
Kevin Bacon isn't.
Kevin Bacon is not in Footloose. There's just a lot. There's a lot going on, but it's a pretty fast-paced movie where Tom Hanks does a fantastic job of bringing Jim Lovell to life, and I think it's somewhat low on IMDb at 7. Well, it's 7.7. 7.7. I would put it a little higher, but not much higher.
I've got something to say about Apollo 13.
All right, you hit me with it.
I've never seen it.
What?
I think you would like it.
It's a solid film.
And I bet that I'll watch it before you watch it.
I was going to say, chances are you might watch Apollo 13. It's pretty good.
It's a real good movie.
I don't know why I've never watched it. I think it doesn't like come up ever on like recommended anything. And if you do, you're like, I don't have 2.5 hours to dedicate.
Right.
Tom Hanks just makes 2.5 hour masterpieces, apparently.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he do.
Zachary, number 3.
My number 3 is a movie that we have talked about, and it is a movie called Castaway.
We are castaways.
All the way there.
Because, as previously stated, that's a 2.5 hour movie. That 2 hours of it is Tom Hanks alone on an island in the South Pacific.
I've got something to say.
Do you also have it at 3?
I've never seen Castaway.
What the?
I've never seen it.
You need to watch that.
I legit.
I think you would like it.
I think you would like it. I legit would. I could see myself watching Castaway.
Probably going to watch it tonight.
Producer Ashley is about to bail for a week. I'm going to have there's only so many days that Stanley Cup Final is going to play.
Like 7 max.
7 times max. and they've already played 2. So chances are I will watch it in the next week. I will report back. I will commit to watching Castaway
By the time this
if it's
airs,
on a streaming platform that is free.
By the time this airs, he will have watched it.
That is the goal, certainly. I will watch Castaway by the time you are listening to this.
Which could be 4 weeks from now. I think it's like 3.
Potentially, yeah. 3.
It is on Amazon Prime, included with Prime.
Okay.
That
If they didn't have a horrible user interface, it would be much easier.
Correct.
I like Prime. But you can just never tell what
Well,
page
you know
you're
what?
on.
I'm actually...
Am I on
Do I
the
need to pay
homepage?
$20 for this, or is it going to be free? I don't know.
Well, no, there's
I'm
always-
not going to talk Amazon Prime because you already have the government, big oil. I don't need Jeff Bezos trying to kill me too. So you know what? I like
Anything
Amazon
bad
Prime.
you want to say about Tesla?
Again, I don't particularly have a death wish. I don't have a life wish.
I'll go
but
at not Tesla so much as SpaceX real quick. Like Elon Musk is real big on, I'm buying Twitter for free speech, but then he fired a bunch of people from SpaceX who had the audacity to talk bad about him.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's-
if they worked for Twitter, that's fine. But you don't. You work for
No, you
SpaceX.
can't be big on free speech and then firing
You can't
people
call
because
yourself
they
a free
had
speech
the
absolutist.
and then they have the audacity to criticize you, and then they're like, you know what, you're fired.
I think you can.
No, that's not how that
Yeah,
works.
let me rephrase that. I think I would.
That's a different topic.
Because Twitter is a place for everybody to have free speech, but not your employees. Don't be ridiculous.
Don't say stupid stuff.
Like Twitter employees talking shit about Elon Musk on Twitter, fired. Can't do that.
I think you can.
GM employees talking shit about
Well,
Elon Musk on
I-
Twitter, perfectly fine because Elon can't fire them.
Right,
But I think you can do it. I think
you
double
can't-
standards exist for a reason.
Right, but they shouldn't. When you're like, everyone should be able to say whatever they want whenever they want. And you're like, okay, well, you're kind of being a piece of crap about
no.
Twitter. Fired. Like,
No,
okay,
he let them say it. That does not protect them from their actions.
yeah, that's the whole point
He
of
is
free.
not
That's the
trying-
whole point of being a
is
free
not-
speech
No,
absolutist.
he's not trying to repress what they did say. I mean, he might be. I don't know. Was it published in the Washington Post?
I don't know.
Whichever one that
They-
Bezos
they-
says.
they wrote-
Bezos owns the Washington
They
Post.
wrote like a letter and published
strongly
it.
worded.
I don't even know if it was strongly worded.
I
I'd
It's
say
just
it
like
was just like an open letter that was like, "Hey, Jeff,"
maybe too open.
or "Hey, Elon." Maybe
Okay, next. I've never seen Castaway. I will watch it.
solid film. Recommend it. I think you'd enjoy it.
Pretty good.
It's very, very emotional scene with Wilson there at the end.
Is it the end of the movie?
It's not the end, but it's
No.
towards
It's
the,
the
end.
end of Wilson.
It's the end of Wilson.
I can tell you that. There's also a very there's a scene that's going to make you at the beginning. It's like, ow.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It has to do,
All right.
for those of you at home, I'm talking about a scene with an ice skate. Mm-hmm. Alrighty.
I guess while we're here, I've never seen Captain Phillips either.
Not a horrible movie, not a great movie.
All I know is that I'm the captain now.
I was gonna say
I've also never seen
I've
Captain
never seen
Phillips.
Captain Phillips. So
Captain Phillips is
look at me.
all right movie.
I am the captain now.
All right. My number 3,
All right.
where I think is appropriately placed, could be number 2, could be number 1, who knows. Number 3, Toy Story. Probably, I think we had it at number 1 on Pixar list. Probably the most influential cartoon movie, right up there with Lion King for best and most influential. Everybody watched it who's our age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's not anybody that's sitting here who would say, I've never seen Toy Story. I've never seen Lion King. Like, yeah, you have.
And if you haven't, then you're an alien. We have bigger issues afoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I slotted Toy Story right in number 3. It could, like I said, it could be number 2, could be number 1, and I wouldn't have an issue with it anywhere under 4 on your list. However, I think 4 is too low.
I disagree. That's why I have a place there.
My number 3 is almost strictly peer pressure and also
I've never seen Toy Story.
I've got something to say about Toy Story after immediately saying, no one would say I've never seen Toy Story.
So I think nobody would say it. I think people would just be like,
People would just be like, oh, yeah, I remember that
Story."
part. That's the best part of the whole movie.
Yeah.
Especially when Buzz flies like for real in that movie. That's like saying her tits feels like bags of sand.
I can't tell you how pretty frequently I will agree to like somebody at work will be like, this is sort of like that Friends episode. You remember the Friends episode where they tried to move? And I'm like, yeah, I do. Yeah, like I have no idea what you're talking about. I know it's like that episode of The Big Bang Theory. Remember that Big Bang Theory episode? Like, no, I watch not horrible TV.
All you have to do is shout pivot.
Right,
everybody talks about Friends.
There's like a Seinfeld, Friends, Big Bang Theory. Are the three big ones that people are like, it's like that. Remember that?
I wish people would talk
The Office. The Office.
Yeah.
Remember that time in The Office? Like, I really don't because I didn't watch it.
I wish people would talk about Psych.
I don't know. I feel like I spend a good chunk of my time saying, oh, so it's like the Simpsons episode, and everybody I work with is like, oh, yeah.
I will allude to, there's a Simpsons gag once where Grandpa Simpson is starting to tell a story and all the kids are murmuring in excitement. He goes, shut up! to talk to them. But other than that, like I'm not saying. Remember that Simpsons episode where Bart and Ned Flanders went to Las Vegas and they married those two floozy?
I don't think Bart married.
Okay, Ned and Ned Flanders. Where Homer and Ned Flanders went and married floozies.
That'd be a real great episode, though. Now,
my number 3. I feel the only reason I've got it on my list is peer pressure. It's Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Fair.
When you said that's only here for peer pressure, that's what I thought you were going to say.
It's a fantastic movie. I don't like it as much as lots of other people do. Like they make it sound as if like if it was on the homepage of the Hub that they would click that rather than any of the other 4K videos on there. It's not that high for me. It's good.
I would probably click on it just to get it to get an extra view.
Just get going.
13 billion views. Saving Private Ryan
on the Hub. It's an 8.6 on IMDb, and it's similar to the same thing as Apollo 13, where I think it's a Tom Hanks movie. I don't know. You could argue that it's not strictly a Tom Hanks movie. I think.
But Tom Hanks is in it.
Tom Hanks is in the Simpsons movie as well.
Also, Catch Me If You Can is a Leonardo DiCaprio movie.
I pondered back and forth going,
So
okay,
did I.
I had it as one
That's
of my top
one
spots
reason-
of Catch Me If You Can is Leonardo DiCaprio.
One reason I had it lower is because it's... And also starring Tom Hanks, but
I feel like
think
that's
most good movies
they are
might
sharing
have that.
top
Yeah,
billing.
yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Which, like, with Saving Private Ryan, I mean,
We'll probably talk about it.
of the core movie,
I stopped, but
of the core movie, Tom Hanks is the star.
I think it's a Giovanni Ribisi movie.
Oh yeah,
He's in
It's
it
a Vin
to
Diesel
complain-
movie.
He's in it to complain about his feet, so it's a pretty big deal.
So it's highly rated on IMDb. People love it. It's just not. I didn't have it in the top of my war movies.
So that's your number 3.
That's my number 3. Didn't have it in the top of the war movies.
That's true.
I think I had
You had it-
1970.
1917, and I decided I was going to wait a little bit for 1917.
Great movie.
1917 's a solid movie.
Fantastic.
It's phenomenal.
All right, Dunkirk, what do you got at number 2?
That aborted fetus of a movie.
You know, I watched Dunkirk recently, and it still holds up.
You know what that movie could use?
Tom Hanks.
One of these things from our sponsor.
Talk about sponsor reads.
Yeah,
Whew.
and that wasn't really where our sponsor break goes, but you can't talk about like aborted fetuses and not maybe get an ad play from an abortion pill.
Hey, yay.
So on to our number 2s.
Number dos.
Number two.
Zwei, if you will, to some of our motherland friends.
We're gonna have to tell a story about what German people said.
It hurt my feelings. It did.
Yeah, well, you win some, you lose some. My number 2 is a movie that we have talked about. It is Apollo 13. And again,
This is odd.
why?
Go on.
Apollo 13 is a movie that, you can make the claim, I suppose, that it's not exactly a Tom Hanks movie because it's got an all-star banger cast in it, but it's a Tom Hanks movie.
No, I think it's solidly a Tom Hanks movie.
Yeah. Directed by the great Ron Howard. The real-life story of Ohio-born astronaut Jim Lovell.
John Glenn?
No, different Ohio astronaut. There's something about this state that makes people want to leave the planet.
Yeah, it's the need for excellence.
Right.
Wake up in the morning, piss it.
So, I moved to Michigan about a year ago, and all the people up there are like, "Oh, Michigan or Ohio sucks. That's why all the astronauts got to leave." They're like, "No, because they know there's no place better on the planet than Ohio. Got to search elsewhere out there for it." But
Big facts.
big facts.
I mean, I've been to the beach.
Hey, there's beaches in Ohio, man.
Yeah, but
not ones you can swim at.
what do you do?
You
at
can.
The,
You
what do
shouldn't.
do at the beach when you go there?
Sit.
Yeah, sweet. I can do that at home.
Right. In my
I don't
air
need. I don't need to do it in sand.
Sidebar, like the amount of people
100-degree weather.
Oh, it's June 23rd, and they're like, "We're going to Florida." Like I can sweat my
Go
tits
in
off.
January.
Right. I can sweat my cojones off in Ohio in June.
Right.
Why would? Well, the kids are out of school. Oh my God, they're going to miss a vocab test if you take them in February. Who cares? Go.
Well, we like to go down to the condo. We have a pool there, and we spend a lot of time by the pool. You can do that in Hocking Hills.
Right. I know 10 people with pools right off the top of my head.
Name 'em.
More people with ponds.
Name names.
There's Uncle Mike and Aunt Annie.
My sister.
Neil and Patrice. Don's sister has a pool. She didn't have to wait as long as other people. Like other people had to. Like I know are like I'm on the waiting list. It's like 2 years to.
Theirs was.
I suppose Mom has a pool now.
So
I'm thinking about it.
I think they booked theirs the end of 2020. So they waited
it's
a
not-
year and a half ish.
But I heard somebody the other day was like they told us it'd be about a year and a half, 2 years, and I was like I don't think Don's sister had to wait that long.
They did. They just said, "Don't tell anybody."
No, okay. So there's
Now you want to
pools.
talk about ponds?
Lots of ponds.
Lots of ponds.
I've ice skated on more ponds than I've swam in. Well, let me rephrase that.
Pretty close.
I've played ice hockey on more ponds. I didn't skate.
with tennies on.
Yeah. Never really learned how to.
Continue with your Apollo 13, and then I want to know what Don's hang up is.
Okay. But no, it's a real life story of a harrowing rescue of trying to save three men who are quite literally in the most unreachable place in the world to get help, and they had to figure out how to save themselves from a multitude of different problems, including mechanical failure of the rocket ship they were in, on top of, losing a bunch of precious oxygen. I don't know about you fellas, but I really enjoy breathing. It's one of my favorite activities. I do it all day.
I don't believe that.
I haven't stopped.
Right, but when
I know some
are
people would like you to, but
people
would like
are
me to. But
how are you, Zach? I'm alive despite my best efforts. Would lead me to believe that maybe you don't enjoy breathing all that much.
well, you got me there. But they overcome some hellacious obstacles, and spoiler alert, they make it home safe. It's a solid film. I recommend it highly.
Yeah, not a whole lot of movies going to be made about like the Columbia disaster, the Challenger.
I mean, I feel like there would be, but
No,
then,
there's you know what? There's not.
well, like
Enough
there's not.
time has
You gotta tastefully do it, and then like you don't show.
There's no taste.
No. Like,
No.
You talk
I
about.
don't think you know how every movie that's ever included Abraham Lincoln's assassination doesn't show his brains getting blown out.
Exactly. That's how you do the Challenger Columbia.
You know how many movies there are that Abraham Lincoln's brains get blown out? Not many.
Not many.
You know why? Because there's a couple things that are off limits.
What are they going to do? Like just show this lady teaching for an hour and a half, and then loading up onto a rocket
Yeah,
ship?
you load her up
black
on the rocket
screen.
ship,
Right.
and then just-
She died.
She won a
6:18
contest because
a.m..
her students wanted her to die.
just about spit water into some expensive podcasting equipment there.
Well, that's Don's microphone, so I don't care.
Yeah. So let's.
So let's not do that.
Okay. So
What's your hang up?
Yeah, what's your hang up on Apollo 13?
Because I'm here. When you get that look on your face and then one finger in the air of like, 1 moment, please.
Okay. So
It's
that was
generally pretty good.
actually secondly.
Okay.
I did that secondly. I was going to say something first, and it was going to be like, I'm surprised that you have that at number 2 because I know what you haven't listed, and the fact that it's not like 1 and 2 is kind of crazy. You're missing multiples that I would expect to be at the top of your list, at least on your list.
Okay.
I mean, I assume they're in your 30 honorable mentions.
I do have a rather extensive honorable mentions list.
Secondly, what I wanted to nitpick is that you said that they were on the most remote place on Earth. And I found out on TikTok last night that is not true. There is a place called
Point Nemo.
That...
Well, they weren't on Earth.
They weren't on. I said they were in the most.
Well,
I said they were in the most unaccessible place. I don't think I said on Earth. If I did, I misspoke.
You did.
Play it back.
You did miss.
Play it back.
Anyway, Point Nemo, the closest humans to it are on the
International Space Station.
Yep.
Yeah.
250 miles away.
But yeah, they're
When
like
the astronauts go over. I'm talking Jack.
they're partway to the moon, so they're further out than Point Nemo.
But it's also like 1,400 miles to the closest landmass from Point Nemo.
Right, and in the
I've never seen Apollo 13.
And
I might have seen the end of it. I think I've seen the
Isn't
end
Point
of it.
Nemo closer to Antarctica than it is like anything else?
Also, and then sometimes you just have a bad day at work and you're Googling flights to Point Nemo as if that's just going to pull up on the Google. Google flights, Columbus to Point Nemo. Oh, damn, they don't have any available this week.
Got to take the Castaway special. I think I've seen the end of Apollo 13. Everybody's unconscious, and Tom Hanks is just like, get buckled in.
I think that's the Polar Express.
You're right. Speaking of Polar Express, number 2 on my list is Forrest Gump.
I was gonna say if you.
I knew you weren't going to do that. I was like, there's no way Donna's about to do that.
I watched Polar Express in 3D at my house.
Do you have a 3D TV?
Used to.
I've never seen the Polar Express.
I don't like it.
It's not great.
I know there are listeners to this podcast
Like, it's
who
a
are
good
going to text me and
It
say,
was a good 3D movie because there's like all kinds of like 3D stuff.
yeah, there are a couple of scenes where it's very abundantly clear that you are supposed to watch this in 3D. Whole train going off the tracks.
Well, I was gonna say the only thing I've ever seen from the Polar Express is
stupid little kid.
well that, but the train drifting on ice. They have the Tokyo Drift music playing in the
It's
background.
anti-Christian. Is that
Good.
the Golden Compass?
That's the Golden
The
Compass.
Golden Compass,
That is 100% the Golden Compass.
I don't like the Polar Express.
Neither do I. Anyway, Forrest Gump at number 2. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. I think we're going to talk about it a little bit more. Another Robert Zemeckis film.
Indeed,
Yeah.
And another movie co-starring Gary Sinise.
You ain't got no legs, Lieutenant Dan.
He doesn't have any legs, Lieutenant Dan. You know what he does have?
Heart. Some sort of downs.
A mother who cares about his education.
I was going to say AIDS.
He does not have a.
I bet you
Everybody
does.
knows that
I
Forrest
bet you he
Gump is a
does.
prequel to Philadelphia.
I bet you he does. I bet you he does.
No.
He probably does.
At minimum, he's got full-blown HIV.
No.
He has at least one HIV. He has AIDS at minimum.
No.
Anything else, Don?
It's fantastic. It's like a 4-part miniseries, kind of wrapped up into a movie.
I've never...
It's like, here's Forrest Gump as a kid. Here's Forrest Gump in college and in the Army. Here's Forrest Gump after college. So 3-part.
Apparently, the book is dreadful.
Yeah.
Really?
I've
Like,
heard
there
that.
are a lot of people who are like, I don't know how they made a good movie out of that because the book sucks.
You know,
On the
I know
book,
how
in
Tom
the
Hanks.
book, Forrest Gump has like a monster dong and just bangs his way through everyone.
That sounds
including
right.
LBJ and
JFK,
whoever
Richard
Alabama's
Nixon,
coaches back then.
Bear Bryant.
Bear Bryant.
It
All
might-
right.
But yeah, no, that's how they made a good movie was Tom
Tom
Hanks.
Hanks.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
That could be fair.
because he's Tom Hanks.
All right, go ahead, Garrett.
And my number 2, I have Catch Me If You Can.
A Leonardo DiCaprio movie.
Potentially a Leonardo DiCaprio movie. I do think it's split right down the middle.
I would have to agree
They
with
they
that.
follow both of them.
Okay.
So
Right, because you can't have a cat and mouse movie with just the mouse.
Well, you can't say that they follow both of them and then say that Saving Private Ryan.
I didn't say. I said you
isn't-
could argue.
No,
I
you
said
can't.
you could argue.
Because it's literally just Tom Hanks the
It's
entire
a Giovanni Ribisi movie.
movie.
It's a Vin Diesel movie.
He's not in it for that
I
long.
was like, yeah, I don't even know if you see his face.
Damon.
He's not in it till the end.
He's Matt Damon is Private Ryan.
Yeah, who needs saved? The movie is called Saving Private Ryan, not Saving
He's
Tom
the main
Hanks.
character.
Not
Not Captain, whatever the hell his name is.
Phillips.
No, that's a different movie. That movie was called Captain Phillips.
And he's not the main character.
Right, the boat is.
It's one of my.
No.
It's legit one of my favorite movies.
the Somalian pirate was. I'm the captain now.
I'm the captain.
It's true.
It's one of your favorite movies.
Catch Me If You Can is one of my favorite movies.
I thoroughly enjoy Catch Me
It's
If
in
You
the
Can.
list of, and I would like to do this ranking sometime, of movies that when you see it on TV, you're like, okay, well, that we're going to watch that now. Or, I will cancel the plans until this is over on TBS.
Where the hell was that 2 hours ago? We were arguing about what to record.
Well, there's
Now we know.
now we know we're
Right.
recording Tom Hanks movies. Tom Hanks books.
Thanks, books.
We'll be sure to record it when Zach isn't here.
Naturally.
I think the acting is spectacular. Storytelling is spectacular. The way the entire movie's put together is great. I think Tom Hanks, one of his best roles. Carl Hanratty. He wouldn't say that, I imagine. But
He gets fooled by a fake license. He had Leonardo DiCaprio right there, and he let him go.
they let him go. He also, on
Then he-
Christmas Day in France or whatever.
Yep.
And he didn't let him go. But then at the end of the movie, it turns into the TV show White Collar,
I haven't. Don't understand
where
the
he just
reference.
goes and works for like the FBI.
Right.
Right. He's a criminal who goes and
He's a-
works for the FBI.
Yeah.
Which Frank Abagnale's an extremely intelligent man who is
Lied about a bunch of stuff. To
lied
get
about a
movie.
bunch of to make a bunch of money, but no, he's still around. Still gives TED Talks regularly. And
Never watched a TED Talk.
you've never watched a TED Talk?
I've never watched one. They got them in podcast form.
Okay, that's fair.
And they're
never
like
listened to
15
one either.
minutes. and
Right.
Oh.
Right, like I love a good TED Talk.
Yeah.
But no, Frank Abagnale.
It's got to be the right topic.
That's fair. But Frank Abagnale's a really smart guy, and I'm really glad that they made a movie of his life because I would not know who he is otherwise.
Pretending Zach didn't just speak. They like spend weeks working on them too. It's crazy. Like there's never really many ums in a TED Talk because they just pound you.
Oh, now we're talking about. I was like, "What are you talking about? Catch Me If You Can."
No.
I imagine
TED
they spent
Talks, man.
months or years.
TED
working on
Talks.
this movie.
They spend weeks working on your speech so you don't screw up and sound like a moron during your TED Talk.
They also like a moron.
yeah, I get it. So that's my number 2.
They had Frank Abagnale on. It was an old TV show where you had to,
To tell the truth or
Yeah,
whatever it
to
was.
tell the truth. Yeah,
and he stumped
Lied.
the person. Well, yeah.
Right.
lied.
He was like, I was a criminal informant for the FBI and did all this stuff and tricked them. Yeah.
So that's my number 2.
I did watch that episode.
Catch Me If You Can. We're on to number 1s now, or
No,
honorable
we're not.
mentions.
We're on to honorable mentions.
Okay, excuse me.
Zach, briefly give
Shut
your
up.
honorable mentions
I'm just kidding. Sex.
without.
What did I do? I'll take it forever.
Okay.
Quickly.
Quickly.
On the hop.
Saving Private Ryan is in my honorable mentions. Just I like the other movies I have better. Really enjoyed Saving Mr. Banks.
I haven't seen it.
I
He
saw it.
He plays
20
Walt
years ago.
Disney, but this movie is made by the Walt Disney Company, so Walt Disney's not the bad guy in this movie.
I was going to say, did he hate the Jews?
No, but he really tried to screw over the lady who
P.L. Travers.
Yeah, P.L. Travers, the lady who wrote Mary Poppins, and kind of screwed her over. And they,
Is that in the movie?
yeah, pretty much what the whole movie's about. But like they make Walt Disney look like the good guy, and she said, "Hey, don't make any more sequels of my intellectual property. I don't like what you did with it." So they waited till she was dead, and then made Mary Poppins 2. And this movie.
It's time with a vengeance.
Probably shouldn't have.
They made that movie first, and they made Mary Poppins 2. I did like the Da Vinci Code because I'm stupid.
The books aren't bad.
Was that the Mary Poppins lady who wrote the Da Vinci Code?
No.
Dan Brown wrote the Da Vinci Code.
What about Angels and Demons?
Also Dan
Also,
Brown.
Dan Brown.
Did they ever make a third one? They were supposed to.
They did.
Yes.
Not good.
I was say it's not good.
Which was
And
was the Da Vinci Code where like the albino dude's whipping himself?
Yes.
Yes.
I never
Paul
watched
Bettany.
it. That was Paul Bettany.
And if Tom Hanks can't save your movie, it's probably not a very good movie.
That's fair.
The books aren't bad, but the movie is it's kind of
Awful.
national treasury, but not good.
Right.
That's fair.
Like National Treasure. Very good.
Starring action star.
If Hans-
Second best action star, Nick Cage.
If Tom Hanks and Hans Zimmer can't save your movie,
And
you are
ain't
so
working.
well.
I'll say, and then my last honorable mention that
That is
was
Paul
very hard to
Bettany.
not put on the list was The Terminal.
Is that the one with the phone call?
No, that's the one.
The one where he lives in the terminal?
It's the one here. He lives at the airport because the country he came from is in the middle of a civil war and their government gets toppled. So the United States government won't recognize his country's or his passport as legitimate. So he has to live in a airplane or airport terminal for several months. It's a really, really interesting movie.
I didn't know who Paul Bettany was until right now. I now understand why you both are like, well, yeah, it's Paul Bettany.
But
Vision
I don't
from Marvel.
Wanda Vision.
so yeah, that's my honorable mentions.
Dooney G.
Off topic. I remember watching a TikTok where this dude was like, his POV was like Paul Bettany watching the Amber Heard Johnny Depp thing. It's like, did you smoke marijuana with Paul Bettany? Yes. Did you do cocaine with Paul Bettany? Yes. Paul Bettany sitting at home was like, what the hell, man? My honorable mentions. I've got Big in my honorable mentions.
Never seen it.
Never seen Big.
I would like you to watch it.
I will watch Castaway before I watch Big. I'm sorry.
You should.
Okay. You're like, clearly I have it higher on my list.
But Big is...
Is that the one where he's big?
Yeah.
It's the one that made
So
it
it's the
big.
one where he's essentially like an 11-year-old kid, and they make a wish to like the little wishing thing that's like in every movie at the carnival. And he's like, I wish I was big. And then he like becomes a 24-year-old guy overnight, and he
claps some lady out too, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Downstairs.
Because he doesn't tell him that I'm an 11-year-old.
Well, yeah, you're not going to lead with that.
And that scene's pretty hilarious when he's just, when she like is getting naked in front of him, he's just standing there like, I'm an 11-year-old. I don't know what I'm doing. And then she claps.
I'll try that
She
next
claps him out, just FYI.
That's fair.
I don't think he claps her out. Not like Peyton.
I was going to say, I'm like, Tom Hanks, you rascal.
I've got The Green Mile on my honorable mention list.
That's a movie you got to commit to because that
A
one
little over 3 hours.
is 7,000 hours.
I don't know the last time I watched it, but
Yeah.
it's a good movie. And A League of Their Own on my honorable mention that I dropped down right before we started recording.
Garrett, I don't know if you marked it or not, but I dropped a hard F-bomb in there a minute ago.
Okay. All right.
Well, we'll find it.
Great. Thanks. Appreciate the.
Saving
I'm just trying to help you out.
I have two honorable mentions. Hot takery.
You've got
I got Forrest Gump and Toy Story in my honorable mention. What? Okay.
Okay. I'm going into this with an open mind.
Forrest Gump might be the most overrated movie of all time. It's good. It's not the greatest movie on the
it's
planet.
not even the best Tom Hanks movie.
Not even the best Tom Hanks movie, in my opinion.
What is?
The premise is interesting. I enjoy the run through Forrest Gump's life. It's just that's not how life works. It doesn't always.
It's a
Can't always-
fictional
you can't-
story.
You can't always fall forward
Right,
or fall upward.
you can't be that dumb and be that successful.
That doesn't like sound good in the ears, so you need to stop.
It just
Probably less so for our listeners and listening to this on their car radios.
they're like, oh my God, I blew a gasket. It's just it's good. It's just not the greatest thing that people think it is. And also at the end, like I don't like the way it ends. Of like, here, Jenny, yeah, Jenny, I'll raise the AIDS, baby. He absolutely has HIV.
Yeah.
Because they get married. They didn't consummate that thing.
Right.
They bumped uglies, and he's got the HIV, and that they don't tell you that part because they want you to feel warm and fuzzy on the inside at the end of this thing.
Right. I was going to say, do they ever say it's HIV? Like, I know it's heavily implied.
No, but I'm not dumb. They're not dumb.
Well, right. But
There's a reason there ain't a Forrest Gump too, because it's just him looking frail and pale.
there's a Mad TV skit that's Forrest Gump too. That's hilarious, which is wild coming from Mad TV. But
And he's just like, I'll
Mad
raise
TV
the
had-
AIDS, baby.
Mad TV had some good stuff every once in a while.
Yeah, they did. So I don't think it's that great. I think it's good, but I don't think it's the greatest movie ever made that some people treat it to be. There's almost a Office-like cult around Forrest Gump that I don't. And I know we're going to talk about it here in a little bit.
All right, Zach, your number one is Forrest Gump. Tell us why.
Because Forrest Gump's one of the best movies ever made.
For all of the reasons that Garrett said.
No, okay, so like I've been on this kick of watching movies that are like deemed, some of the best movies ever made. So like I've recently watched Citizen Kane. I've recently watched The Godfather. I haven't recently watched Forrest Gump, but I don't need to.
I don't have to.
But I don't have to because I've watched Forrest Gump 10 million times because it's one of the best movies ever made. It is a movie that is 100% propaganda. That it's about American exceptionalism because in what other country in the world could a guy with a room temperature IQ become an all-American football player, a national war hero, meet 4 presidents, meet John Lennon, meet Elvis Presley, marry the love of his life, who was the only person who was nice to him. Sure, she gave him AIDS, but that's neither here nor there. If I could do some of that, I would be okay.
Canada.
I don't think Shawshank is as good as people say.
I can get on board there. It's not it's the top ranked movie on IMDb, right?
Yeah.
I don't know that it's the best movie ever made. It's good.
It's phenomenal film.
It's not the best movie.
There's a
ever made.
reason I haven't watched it in 15
Is Forrest
years.
Gump better than Super Troopers? No.
They're completely different.
Is it a better movie than Super Troopers?
Now,
no.
if
Is it
you
better
ask-
than Superbad? No.
Yes. Now, if you ask me which one I would like to watch right now, I'm not picking Forrest Gump.
Is it better than Tommy Boy? No.
Yes.
Oh, that's
but
because Tommy Boy's the
again-
best movie ever made.
Again, I don't want to watch Forrest Gump. I do want to watch Tommy Boy, but that doesn't mean that it's not a better movie.
Is it better than Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 Secret of the Ooze?
Yes.
No.
See, like you're just saying things to try and piss people off. At this
I'm just
point.
pissing you off if you want to do it.
My number one
Dooney G, hit us.
should come as no surprise. An 8.6 on IMDb.
Not sure how that's pronounced.
Saving Private Ryan. Number one on my war movies list. Number one on my Tom Hanks movie list. Probably number one on a different movie list if we were to rank it. Probably not number one on a Matt Damon movie list, oddly enough.
It's not a Matt Damon movie.
The 5 minutes, Matt Damon. It's called Saving Private Ryan.
Probably number one on Giovanni Ribisi.
Have you seen Ted?
Ted.
I was just wondering. As I said that, I was like, was he the dude that was like dancing?
Yes.
Yes, he was.
You play some. I
Yep.
think we're alone now. I start dancing like that.
What F. Scott
He might be
Fitzgerald?
number-
What
might be
Scott
number
Fitzgerald?
one.
What Scott Fitzgerald do to you?
It might be number one on Paul Giamatti list. I think it's definitely number one. But it is number one on Tom Hanks. It's just so phenomenal. I wrote the best paper I've ever written in my life in college on Saving Private Ryan. I wrote like a 10-page paper. I think I said this during the
war movies, but damn
I
it,
think I wrote a 10-page paper on the 5-minute opening, like on the first. I don't know. It was
On the
15
opening
minutes.
scene.
It was from where the
D-Day.
it was from where the old man falls at the grave and starts crying through when they take the beach. I wrote like a 10-page paper on that, just about the mise en scène of that movie.
Professor Stephen Hall.
Tom Hanks really fucks with the same like directors over and over. Steven Spielberg, Tom Hanks, Tom Hanks, and
Robert Zemeckis,
Robert Zemeckis,
Ron Howard.
and they're all
You
very,
like
very
what you
good.
like what you like.
I like Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg getting together. Pacific, Band of Brothers.
Pacific is, whew,
It's really good.
good stuff.
So I don't need to talk about Saving Private Ryan more. I'd love to, and I could, but I won't. Garrett, you're number one.
I got the Green Mile.
Okay.
I think it is phenomenal storytelling, phenomenal acting, and not just from Tom Hanks, but from Michael Clark Duncan. I think it's him. It is.
Grab my hands, both.
Peak. I think it's just
phenomenal.
I think it's Stephen King's best work.
I don't know about that, but
Did he do it?
yes.
Yeah, Stephen King's best work.
I think it's Stephen King's best work. I think it's Barry Pepper's best work. I think it's Sam Rockwell's best work.
Not true at all. You ever seen Moon?
No.
Watch Moon.
No.
That is Sam Rockwell's best.
It's albeit long.
Oh, he's the bad guy.
It is. Yeah, it's fantastic.
It is a great movie, but you have to commit an afternoon to it.
And I'm here for it.
He's all in.
I'm in on the Green Mile. It's a great, great, great story, told really well. The mise en scène of the Green Mile is elite storytelling. And
You ever seen Iron Man 2? That's Sam Rockwell's best work.
Sam Rockwell's best work is in the Green Mile. Jeffrey DeMunn, who was the old guy in the first season of The Walking Dead who got bit.
He made
The farmer?
season 2, didn't he?
No. This is I forget what his
Dale.
Yes.
Yeah,
Old guy with the bucket hat.
yeah.
I was going to say, old guy with the bucket hat.
Not the farmer, not the
Yeah, 'cause that's Herschel.
I was gonna say not Herschel. I haven't thought about The Walking Dead in ages.
Yeah, because it stopped being good 10 years ago.
It's right in that time frame. Yeah.
You know whose best work it's not?
David Morse,
Graham Greene.
Bonnie Hunt.
Graham Greene, who is every Indian ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Michael Jeter, who's in one of my favorite westerns, Open Range.
Maverick? You watched Maverick yet?
Maverick, like Top Gun Maverick.
No. But
didn't
also
see
Top
that.
Gun
I haven't
Maverick's
seen Top Gun
fantastic.
Maverick. There's been a couple movies that come out that I wanted to see. Bob's Burgers.
You and
Top Gun Maverick.
You and I do need to watch Lightyear. We were,
I
we
was
were on
gonna
a
say
streak.
Lightyear.
We were
I
on a
want to
streak
see
of Sonic 2 and the Crimes of Dumbledore.
whatever that nap for me was. Yeah.
believe it's The Secrets of Dumbledore.
No, you.
It's like I would have enjoyed the Crimes of Dumbledore better.
Naturally.
We talked about that on the last podcast.
We did.
As long as these come out in sequential order,
They will.
they should.
They will. I promise you, they will. So I got the Green Mile. I think it's one of in Zach's. It's one of the best movies ever made. I don't know if it's one of the best movies ever made, but it's real good, and I enjoy the hell out of it.
Solid flick.
Hey,
Yeah,
let's talk about
Philadelphia.
German people.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And how and why you hate them?
Well, strong word.
Why you hate this one?
Okay, so my wife and I went to my wife and I went to 5 national parks in Utah a few weeks ago. 5 national parks in 5 days, and we were going to Bryce Canyon National Park. If you ever get a chance, I would recommend. You're supposed to ride the shuttle to Bryce Canyon National Park from Bryce Canyon City into the national park. We've then figured out you don't really have to do this after we went on the shuttle. I had one of those they call them breezer hats. If you were, it's the cross between
A bucket hat and a cowboy
It's
hat.
a hat
say,
that
like
Nick Saban wears at football practice.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not a park ranger hat because they're more flat-brimmed cowboy hats than what I have. It's got, mesh in it, so you get a little breeze in there. Is it stupid and ridiculous and kind of large? A little bit.
That's
But
what you expect a fly fisherman to wear.
yeah. Or like a high school football coach in two-a-days. It's just, So I'm wearing one on the shuttle, and eight people get on our shuttle. And they are decked out in Harley Davidson gear. So I'm like, okay, don't talk to those people because you're a bit much. But I mean vests, hats, do-rags, shirts, chaps, etc.
Decked out.
And they decked out. They sit down and start talking German. And I have...
Which makes them a whole different kind of biker gang.
Right, it was like, oh, okay, and they're the way they're acting is like, we are Americans, very Harley Davidson, yes. Like, okay,
They all sound like Borat.
yeah, that's how Germans sound. It's Borat.
Bruno.
And so I have what could be characterized, and this is overstating it, the most simple understanding of the English or of the German language. I can't say I have the most simple understanding.
Simple understanding of the
simple
English
understanding of the English language. I have the most simple understanding of the German language.
I took 4 years in high school.
I took 2 years in high school, just to happen to be my freshman and senior years. I wouldn't recommend taking 2 years off from language and picking it up again, but whatever.
Especially one that you don't pay attention in.
I paid attention. I tried. There's just
You
a
paid
lot of.
attention enough to know what.
I paid attention enough for the person across the aisle from me on the shuttle to say, "What beautiful views." And the roughly 60-year-old woman behind me says, "Ich habe einen blöden Hat von mir."
Which, of course,
To which, of course, in German means, I have a stupid hat in front of me. And I understood stupid, I have stupid hat, me. So I put together, like, eventually I was like, what was it, Von Meer? She said, I have a stupid hat in front of me, so she couldn't see the views because of the stupid hat in front of her. And I didn't fight the urge. I just I slumped in my seat of like, well, I don't think it's stupid. So they got off the shuttle, and Ashley's like, what's your problem? And I was like, she called my hat stupid. She's like, how do you know? And I was like, it was German. She's like, oh, that's what that was. I knew it wasn't English. Well, I would hope that after listening to them speak for about 8 minutes in German that you would have been like, man, they sure got some of them weird, wacky Louisiana accents. No, that's not what was happening. They were speaking German. She called my hat stupid. And I was like, it's not stupid. It's a national park.
And Garrett, being the millennial that he is, who can't tell the waitress that his food order isn't right.
Like when I go just shopping for shoes, and if they don't got both shoes in my size in the box, well, we're leaving. I'm not asking somebody like, hey, do you have these in a size 13, please?
Whereas I was like, you didn't say anything in German back. You didn't say anything. In English.
I just was like, I avoided conflict for conflict because I thought, okay, if I do anything to let that woman know, I know that you just called my hat stupid. Eventually, Ashley's like, you caused a scene on the shuttle bus after that girl called your hat stupid. Like, well, she called my hat stupid.
Nah, her.
Now, Zach, we didn't tell Garrett this, but when I first saw Garrett after I arrived here today, what did I say as he walked past?
Said something about his hat being stupid.
I said, your brother's wearing a stupid fucking hat.
And I was like, I don't think it's stupid.
It's not. I don't think his hat's stupid.
I was like, I don't think any hat is stupid. I think the person wearing the hat is stupid.
I was like, he's wearing the hat inside.
I had just come in from outside.
Because we're smoking a pork butt
I got
right
a big
now.
old pork butt on the smoker. But it's not stupid. It's stupid now, 100%. In Utah, in June at the national park, it's windy as hell sometimes, so you need the leather with the bead at the bottom to cinch it up to your chin so it will stay on. But then also, I don't have to put sunscreen on my ears or my eye, my nose. You know, I don't got to worry about any of that stuff getting roasted because I'm in the shade.
Hat.
Yeah, like I said to Aaron, I was like, if Don ever wanted to go golfing, I could wear this hat golfing. It's not stupid. She hurt my feelings.
Blurred hood.
Oh, yeah, I hear blurred hood. I'm like, hey. Like I fought the urge to whip around.
You should have.
Hey, I heard that. She'd be like, well, what's the chances the fat kid in front of me in Utah speaks German?
And now she's going to keep thinking she can get away with it.
Right, exactly. You could have put a rude foreigner in their place, and you didn't. You chose not to because you're a wussy millennial. That's the problem with you goddamn millennials.
Kids these days.
I mean, all of that is true.
The
sole reason
started a war over that.
Like I just was like, I'm not causing a confrontation here.
I'd have turned around and been like, ma'am, do you speak English? Yeah, you know why you speak English? Because you lost a goddamn war.
Why I just
kraut.
I don't think that's true.
It would have just been like,
it helped.
I heard that. I understood that, lady. Like, I get. You know your Ich habe keine IDs. There was one German couple.
Ich bin ein Berliner.
Right. Like,
there was one German couple. Or it was, I don't remember who it was, but we were taking a picture. They looked like they were struggling to take a picture. And, I remember where we were. And so we stopped and said, hey, would you like us to take a picture? And they were like, yes, perfect, thank you. We took a picture, and they were so thankful. And I was going to
say
No. I was going to drop a na klar and text you. It was going to be like, na klar, just to kind of like, which German is for of course, not klar.
You didn't say.
I didn't say not
What the
klar
hell?
because I didn't want to be that like fat stereotypical American. It's like, oh, he knows 4 words in German. Like it's your stereotypical white mom that goes to the Mexican restaurant. Like grassy ass.
No, she goes to the Chinese buffet and says grassy.
I want 2 tacos and warm tortillas. Grassy ass. Like,
No, that
I
mom
didn't
goes
want
to the Chinese restaurant and says, "Domo arigato."
but I didn't want to be that, so I was like, okay, I'll just say you got it. But I wanted to drop a
100%.
not klar.
Not klar. Ich bin eine Berliner.
That last part's not true. So that was my German story of like, hey, I heard you call my hat stupid, and I don't think it's stupid. It's not stupid.
That's not nice.
It's not nice. My hat's not stupid. I have a glandular problem.
All right, let's finish. Yeah, let's get out of here. We got a pork butt not to eat for an hour and a half because Garrett forgot to light the fire.
Hold on, I didn't forget to light the fire. The fire went out because Zach didn't put the. No, I'm just kidding. Zach didn't put the wood pellets in the right place. Okay, Zach, tweet machine.
At Zach Seawright,
He's
Zach
private
H.
again.
The H is for 8. It
Are
is
you
private.
private?
Yeah, it's private again.
Idiot. Don.
Donnie_G. Zach H for hate.
Watch Don on Twitch if he ever streams again.
Yeah, I'm gonna get back into it now that we're slowing down at work.
And I'm going to watch big. I'm at Garrett Seawright on Twitter. You can find the podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Rank 'em Podcast. Give us a 5-star review. If you do, we'll read them on the show, unless they've got expletives in it, and we'll read it twice. We will catch you next time right here on the Rank 'em Podcast. We appreciate you. We'll see you.
Gross hood.